Hey, hello, welcome back to the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael, and yeah, we're going a little bit out of order. So, my plan was to talk about the Yugo Sakamoto filmography as it got released, but since yesterday Baby Assassins Every Day started, I guess I just want to talk a little bit about the first episode, and yeah, here we are. So why not? If there's something new, why not talk about the new stuff first and then go back to the other stuff? And yeah, so Baby Assassins Every Day. I haven't talked much about about Baby Assassins on this channel yet, but I guess most people who will watch this will know what Baby Assassins is. It's basically a action comedy film series about two young professional killers who live together and do weird stuff and kill some people like you do if you're a professional killer. And now they got their own TV show that's called Everyday, matching title to this third movie that's coming out later this month. It had its premiere in America a few months ago, and in Japan it will play from the 27th of September and will be called Nice Days. And the show started yesterday, so on September 4th, and will run 12 weeks. So 12 episodes, one every week. And yeah, so I'm not sure how this fits the timeline. I checked on the official website where they were like, oh, let's find out. So they made a little mystery out of it. And yeah, but it seems to be a relatively big thing. I remember when the first movie played in cinema, it played really long, like my local cinema over there actually. Had the poster out for a really, really long time, like at least a month or more. And I always thought, oh, looks cool. But just when I thought, oh, I should give this movie finally a try, they just stopped showing it, and I didn't watch it until later. Too bad. But it's a really, really small, like a so-called mini theater, and the second one, I think, where did I see that? Probably still is a pretty small cinema. And now, I'm not sure. I think they mix it a little bit. I've seen like my local tiny cinema here is gonna show it, but I think some bigger ones as well. So I hope they make a nice little mix out of it, because I like it whenever movies are actually shown in not only big cinemas. Anyway, so it seems to be quite a big deal. So my Twitter timeline is basically just full with fan art and stuff for the show. So, but that could be the algorithm that just shows me what I'm interested in. But if we check some magazines, here's the Nihon Eiga Navi. There's where's it? Nice little interview with the two. Yeah, so that's one. Then they're on the cover of Hee-Haw. Of course, more maybe focus. It's all more focus on the new movie than the show, but of course the show gets talked about as well. So here they seemingly cover a little bit about the older movies. I still haven't read it all. That's maybe a different episode talking about the content of these interviews. Here's another movie magazine called Cinema Square, and again, so they're pretty much doing a lot. And here we have one of Japan's biggest fashion magazines, and they're on the back cover of a recent issue. So, yeah, they're basically everywhere. And when we talk about the cast of the show, you will notice something else about being everywhere. There's the flyer for Nice Days. And just today I saw another movie with one of the lead actresses, Akari Takaishi. That is this lady. Yeah. And I saw a movie that's called The Colors Within You, an anime where she voices one of the main characters. And yeah, pretty good, pretty nice. A great movie. And yeah, so it's impossible to miss the thing. So I'm a little bit surprised that it's still being shown in these tiny cinemas instead of like the bigger ones. But let's see how that turns out. I will get back to that topic when the movie is actually out. Anyway, yeah, so it's been a while since the first and second came out. The second came last year. The first one in 2021, and it must have been early last year. And in between, the director made another movie, because why not? That was the legendary hitman Kunioka spin-off Kunioka. That was the North Osaka and Kyoto edition of that spin-off series of a legendary hitman Kunioka, which should get released in the West as well, because the movies are pretty damn fun. And it's good stuff, but we will get to those eventually someday when we talk more about the director's filmography. Anyway, yeah, so basically they made a movie and a show this year, and the show now started. It's been shown on Tere Tokyo, and straight after that it's streaming on Unext and some other Japanese apps that I don't know. Unext is one of the biggest streaming platforms in Japan that has a lot of good stuff. That's where I saw Sakamoto's Shurarando. So I basically got that to watch this show and Shurarando, and yeah, there will be a lot of other good stuff that I will watch, but yeah, basically for this. And just after I finished watching this first episode, I wrote my impressions on Twitter, and suddenly I saw a tweet that said, hey, it's out in English on YouTube, which I don't see here without using a VPN, because it's, of course, region locked, not available for Japan, because they want you to use stuff like Unext or watch it on TV. But anyway, it just got suddenly released on YouTube with subtitles. Nobody seems to know whether or not that's just the first episode or they will release the whole show. No idea. I guess we've got to wait until next week. Both would kind of make sense. I've seen it a lot that I think with Kamen Rider that happened quite a lot, where they put like first episodes on YouTube and yeah, just to tease a release. That never happened, or much later, so it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But if they do it more like Ultraman, it's gonna be the whole show, because Ultraman or Ultraman has been doing that for years now, and it seems to work out quite well. So I don't know, maybe if they see it's a big success abroad, they will continue, or maybe they will just continue. You will find out. I will probably talk a little bit about each episode, because why not? And yeah, so everybody was just surprised. I've heard some things that there might be, or at least in some interviews, the director said, oh, he's very optimistic that there will be a release in the West, and some talking. I mean, the movies seemingly were quite successful so far. got released in the US and Germany, some other countries as well. So why not the TV show? It's gonna be 12 episodes. That's like 6 hours. One episode is 24 minutes. So it's you can put that on one or two Blu-rays and it's finished, right? So why not? Like it's still pretty easy to handle. It's not like a Kamen Rider 50 episode huge set. It's just a small, really small show. So anyway, whatever happens, I guess in the end, eventually, you will be able to watch the show in English. So far, like I said, on YouTube, if you Google, you will find. And enjoy like I did. Like I said, I watched it on Unext just after the airing on TV, and after that I thought, wow. First I watched the action scene a few more times, and then I thought, oh, it's on YouTube. Let's watch it again with subtitles. And the thing that made me the happiest is that I actually didn't miss that much, like from the conversations, because of Japanese without subtitles. But it's fine. I can understand enough. Lucky me. Yeah, that always makes me happy whenever I find out that while watching, I feel like, oh, I must have missed something, and then I watch it with subtitles. Yeah, no, I got everything, or almost everything, and yeah, that's good. I like not missing stuff. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the show itself first, maybe a little bit more without spoilers, and we'll go into the details. And yeah, first, maybe the intro song is by someone or some people called Shudo, and the ending is by Tere. And the ending, I don't know, it fits the mood. Like there's a scene where they're back at home after their first little adventure and enjoying some food, and there's some nice little music playing, so it's fitting, but nothing I will remember that much, while the intro song is much more interesting. It's much more fun. The whole intro animation, it's a animated intro, various styles. I think I saw some like stop motion or something as well, or models. It's really cute, and very much pop culture-esque with video games and action and car driving and stuff. And it's good, very nice, very fitting, very cute, and that's fine. Like I already mentioned, this first episode had one action scene. That's one of the main topics that people who watched the movies were interested in, like how much focus can there be on action for this show, because we all know, like, Japanese movies already don't have a budget, and who knows how much budget they have for this show. As far as I can tell, not much less than for the movies, because it looks pretty much as good or bad as there's one thing that I really hate, and that's the omnipresence of teal and orange, especially when they're home. Besides their home, it's bearable, but that's a problem that basically the whole movie industry worldwide has. So especially if you make stuff for Netflix, I think that's really ugly. Anyway, no, it looks really nice, like totally fine. And this one action scene, if you remember the first movie, it basically had two action scenes, and in between maybe a little bit shooting, but like the outstanding thing here is the fighting choreography by Kensuke Sonomura. And yeah, like the first movie had two scenes, this small episode has one, so I guess that's a pretty good ratio for a 24-minute episode. You get a 25-minute scene, and the two actresses, like one of them is actually a stunt woman, so she can do her stuff. That's Saori Izawa. The other one I mentioned, Akari Takaishi, is not so much a stunt person. And let me show them again. Miss Izawa, Miss Takaishi. and is not so much a stunt person, but she's getting better at the action, and she's able to do more. In the first movies, I kept her a little bit out of the action in the like final battles, and that's but she trained hard. She's in another action movie by Sonomura himself that's called Ghost Killer, that's going to be released this year, and she's playing one of the lead roles. And according to the trailer, she does a lot more action, so good for her. She actually trained the stuff she's doing, so nice. So that's very nice. This is one action scene, 2 minutes, good stuff. One thing I really didn't like so much in the first two movies, and I will talk about that in detail when we talk about this movie, is sometimes how these two characters are portrayed a little bit too crazy, too stupid. Like, sometimes really, I was worried about their mental state, and sometimes I was just like, for example, in the second movie, that's always my example for things I don't enjoy about these movies. They're like sitting at home eating ice cream like babies, so with their whole face, and they have this conversation. Oh, did you pay the bills? No, I thought you paid the bills. No, I thought you paid. And that's just not funny, not charming, just meh. Like, didn't you have a better idea? And in another episode, I think I mentioned the audio dramas that are much more fun because it's a little bit more focused on them talking about more interesting things like, I don't know, pop culture or something. And we have something here as well where they comment the restaurant prices, which is something first that people can relate to, not just in Japan, but I guess everywhere. And yeah, it's done in a way where they don't seem just completely demented, and but still a little quirky and silly. So I felt like that's much nicer, much more bearable. Like for the movies, I actually had to get into the mood to actually enjoy them. So it always took me a few minutes getting into the movies, and I needed the characters to interact with others more. I've always felt like that works much better than them alone, and they do that in this show much better. So that's a good point. Yeah, he has a lot interaction with other characters, a lot of surprisingly a lot of story building. Huh? I thought it's much more focused on them just being silly, but we get a big setup for a big story, and I guess I will just tell this one story throughout the, well, not exactly 6 hours, a little bit less than 6 hours. I guess that will be enough for the whole show. So that's nice, very good. I like their portrayal and everything a little bit more than the movies, because maybe it's a bit more mainstream, because they're a little bit more normal, less insane. But for me, that's much easier to enjoy. So good, very nice. And like I said, they get the balance quite well between just having them do their daily stuff and commenting on the world, and building a story that works quite well. The new characters seem quite fun. We will talk about them later in detail, but yeah, that's good. And yeah, it seems to have a big focus on the organization behind them, like this professional killer association, which is good. Sure, why not? And I think they already have a new apartment again. They always shoot in a different apartment, it seems. So I don't know. In the audio drama, there's one episode where they talk about moving, but it's never really acknowledged. But yeah, like I said, it's not even clear where or when in the timeline this is, before, after, parallel to the movies. No idea. So maybe it's a parallel world where some stuff happens, and yeah, no idea. Anyway, so that's good. The whole atmosphere is very nice, very good. We actually get the Ritt der Walküren, or the Walkürenritt, yeah, by, what was his name? Here by Richard Wagner. No? So you know this thing from Apocalypse Now. What is it called in English? Oh, the Ride of the Valkyries. Because you know, originally this show and the movies is called Baby Valkyrie. So the baby Valkyrie, or Valkyries, probably. So it makes sense to put this piece of music in the show because Valkyries. Yeah. Anyway, that's all cool. That's all fine. The whole action is good. The intro is good. We get some old characters, some new characters. So that's all good. And there's really, except for my annoying fetish or pet peeve, better, for teal and orange, and even for that, I just see the scene here again. Even there, they threw in some other colors. There's some what can I say? Some yellow and some pink. Yeah, so they try to make it less terrible. Yeah, and yeah, it's good. The new characters seem fun. It goes a little bit into their backstory. It's all good. And yeah, basically the relationships to the old characters is more or less the same, so not very healthy because they are too strange. And yeah, so it's all very, very nice and very cool, and you should watch it. And to say more about it, I should go into this whole thing more in detail. So let's first see the two main actresses again. Who I mentioned Sori Izawa, who hasn't been that busy recently. I saw a movie where she appeared that was Almost People last year, which was really, really good. It's by 4 directors, and one of them is Gakuryu Ishii, who just released his 3rd movie in 2 years. That would be this one, The Boxman, which is pretty amazing. I loved it a lot. Not as much as that one. That was what, cinematic self-revolutionary struggle or something like that, like a 3-hour insane masterpiece of meta stuff. I seriously want to watch that again, and yeah. Anyway, so she hasn't been that busy. She just appeared in Baby Assassins 3, in Nice Days and Every Days, and in the documentary of Nice Days, which will start, I think, shortly after the new movie in cinemas, so I've got to watch that as well. Yeah, but she's mainly a stunt person, and I know she trained with one of the main actresses for, what was it called? One of my favorite movies this year, Hard-Boiled Recipe. She trained with Sen Fujimaru, so she helped out there. So she's probably pretty busy, but holy cow, Akari Takaishi did 12 movies and TV shows only this year. Like, she's everywhere. Like I said, I saw her in The Colors Within. Then she's in this movie that's Shinmei Kisha Toroko. And I haven't watched that yet. I wanted to, then they stopped showing it in a cinema near me, so I made the plan to go to a cinema that's far away. And then I saw that the cinema next door will show it next month, so I will just watch it next month. No, but then she has been in the parades by my not favorite director Michihito Fuji. I think that was a Netflix movie. Like, I think most of his recent stuff came on Netflix, so watch her there, I guess. And yes, some other stuff that I've at least heard of, and some of it is not out yet. But anyway, she's super, super busy. She does everything. And that's just according to Letterboxd, and Letterboxd is pretty wrong about many, many things. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another movie or TV show hidden that she did. So she's really, really going through the roof, it seems. So good for her. Then old characters that are coming back. We have Atomo Mizuishi, who plays the main corpse disposal guy, and he has been in some other stuff by Sakamoto, I think. And, mainly here in Unfinished, which I haven't seen yet. And he was in this movie, the Doomsday Detective, which I liked very. I think Takaishi was in that as well. Yes, she was. So they're everywhere. And he did the Full Metal Alchemist live action movie, which I haven't seen. But yeah, he's doing some stuff, and I think in this episode he has only one scene, so just his usual thing. But good. Same with Tomo Nakai, his corpse disposal partner. She's in this movie as well, so this Shinmai Kisha Toroko. And did one more thing this year. That's Keno Hino Kekeke, which I don't know. Seems to be a relatively short movie, 44 minutes. So, maybe good, maybe not. No idea. And then we have 3 big names, or a little bit bigger names for the new characters. One of them has not appeared yet. That's Tokyo Emoto, but probably the biggest name around, because recently he was in Perfect Days by Wim Wenders, and he was, for example, in the last 2 movies by Obayashi, namely Labyrinth of Cinema and Hanagatami. And he was in Outrage by Kitano and To the Ends of the Earth by Kurosawa, and some other really, really good stuff. And I always confuse him with his brother, who was in this little movie, Shin Kamen Rider, where he played the second Kamen Rider, and they look pretty similar. I think his brother is married to Sakurando? Probably, I think. I'm always confused with these 2. But anyway, that's probably the biggest name who will appear in the show at some point, but still hasn't. Then, as the main villain, we have Hirotaro Honda. For some people, probably a bigger name than him, because he was in 2 of the Heisei Gamera movies, nämlich Guardian of the Universe and Revenge of Iris. He was in Kamikaze Girls and Dead or Alive. He was in Shall We Dance and some other stuff. But I think recently Emoto is probably more popular. But he's probably the main villain here. He's at least the boss of this organization who has some evil plans, and someone comes up to him and says, like, well, let's talk about these AI killer drones, and if you make business about AI killer drones, you're per default evil. So don't do that. And the last one is the most prominent new character in this episode, played by Takuya Kusakawa, who is mainly famous for Ultraman Ginga, and his most popular or famous movie was Confessions by one of those directors who I don't really like, named Tatsuya Nakashima, and I don't like Confessions, but that's a story for a different day. Anyway, that's the cast so far. I hope there might be maybe some old Sakamoto face. I would love to see a little what was his name? Yu Yasku? Was it Yu Yasku? Would be nice. Oh, Yu Yasuda, sorry. Yu Yasuda would be nice. I would like to see this not case. And yeah, maybe here some Masayuki Ino would be nice. Yeah, some old faces coming back. I would be happy. But let's see. We still have 11 episodes. And anyway, this episode, like I said, they start discussing restaurant prices in a common family restaurant, and they talk to their boss, who tries to give them orders to eliminate two gangs. And as silly as they are, they just repeat the word, and the gang members hear them talking about them, and they are not amused. So we have a big fight in the kitchen with the cooks, and it's a lot of fun. Like I said, Takaishi is involved in the action. She does more of the slapsticky frying pan stuff that you can do. It's good, it's fun, and Izawa does the more creative close quarter combat stuff, like between the, you've got like, what is it called, like places where they cut and cook, right? I'm missing the words. Anyway, there's the aisle in the middle, and yeah, on and between and in and through everywhere, just fighting and rolling and drop kicking people, and it's a lot of fun. It's 2 minutes, very very good Sonomura action. Maybe not as spectacular as the big final fight in the second movie, but it's really good. It's really fun. 2 minutes, just bam 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 on the nose. Really nice, really good. And yeah, like I said, seeing Takaishi more involved in the action is good. In the second one, they had this mascot costume fight scene where she seemingly did a lot of fighting, so they basically promised her that she can, but obviously that was a stunt person who did that fight, not her. But yeah, nice to see she's getting better. And yeah, after that, we get a little bit more in the private everyday life, and that's where we actually notice the characters are really friendly to each other. They're really like a pair, a couple, not in a romantic way, but they live together, they work together, they function together. They're nice to each other. Like the first movie, they had to get used. They just moved in together, and the second movie, there's still some conflict stuff there. But here, it's just pretty. There's a lot of harmony, and yeah, like Chisato, so Takaishi's character, is cooking Tonjiro, so some pork soup with tomatoes and stuff, and she's cooking for her good friend Mahiro, and she comes home full of blood, and she sort of takes care of her, and it's really nice to see them getting along, and that's really nice and cute, and yeah, lovely, and less stressful and annoying than them being insane. And from there on, of course, I have to check what happened with the blood. Where did that come from? And there was a guy who seemingly attacked her, and she took care of him. And after they got rid of the body by freezing it somewhere, they meet their boss, who's looking for someone who was following her and suddenly disappeared. So they know, hey, that's the same person. And yeah, that's another thing where you notice they are not the smartest people, but they understand things. They are not completely useless. They get the connections. Yeah, he explains, someone followed you yesterday and now he's gone. And she was like, oh, someone followed me yesterday and now he's gone, and I took care of that. And that's nice to see. Like I said, this scene where like, did you pay the bills? No, I thought you paid the bills. Oh, this is much, much better. No, it doesn't make them look like complete idiots, which is good. Yeah, and yeah, it goes on. They have to do a little job for him, and that too reminded me a little bit of the end of the second one, which I didn't like so much because they made something that should have been maybe slightly dramatic into a too cool scene. And I'm not gonna spoil that now, but yeah, here it's similar. They have to kill someone, and he's basically begging, hey, I want to see my kids the last time before I die. And they just kill him like professional killers do. And it's not so much in a cool way, just in a cruel way, which makes a big difference. Like, doesn't look like they particularly enjoy it. They just have to do it. And yeah, that's what they do. And I think that's a much better portrayal of this, like, contrast of being complete silly goofballs and suddenly completely serious professional killers who get stuff done. Yeah, it works better than in the second movie. So this tonality, for my taste, is so much better than in the movies. Maybe a little bit more normal. Okay, if that's too mainstream for you, maybe I don't know. Whatever you like, you like. But for me, this works so much better. It's so much more fun. There was no waiting until I got into the mindset to enjoy this. I don't know, man. I don't think having watched the other Sakamoto movies did a lot. Here, I will probably go back to that mode when I rewatch the movies. But yeah, I think this works so much better. It's more on the cute side. It's more friendly. It's nicer. The main drama for this episode is them being hungry and sleepy, which is really good drama because everybody can relate to that, especially me. I'm very sleepy now because I went to bed way too late because I watched this episode twice, which is really, really rare. I never watch an episode of a TV show twice in a row. Just was like 1 hour break where I watched the action scenes from that episode a few more times. So I guess that speaks for itself that it's a really, really good episode. Maybe not in the sense that they tell a very dramatic, compelling story, but like the title says, it's every day. So maybe it's good there isn't the big, dramatic, compelling story, and it's very basic. Two girls being sleepy and hungry and grumpy and just having what they have to do so they can finally eat and sleep and roll on the floor like cute puppies or something. Yep, so, yep, it's just really, really nice and relaxing TV with some good action and some fun characters. And all we could have hoped for, and I think they hit the nail on the head with this and made the best possible thing. So I'm not gonna log that on Letterboxd now because I will do that when I'm done. I don't understand people watch one episode. Yeah, I watched the show. It's a 5 stars. It can go totally wrong, but I don't hope so. Speaking of it can go totally wrong, we have 2 more directors who worked on this. Funnily, both seem to have the name Wataru. One is Wataru Kudo, who doesn't have, who hasn't done much yet. Used to be an assistant director for Baby Assassins 2, so maybe that's a good thing. The other ones, Wataru Hiranami, who didn't do anything I know. There's a movie that's called Searchlight where what's her name? Tomo Nakaizi, cleaning lady from Baby Assassins, plays a leading role, but haven't seen that. Anyway, yeah, I've been talking much longer than I planned to. I've been talking much longer than the episode, as it was all completely confused. But I hope you got an idea why I really enjoyed this one episode. And I guess when I talk about episode 2, it's gonna be shorter because I don't need all the foreplay and stuff. Yeah, just watch it. It's good stuff. It's on YouTube. It's free. What else would you need to uh, watch that? And let's hope maybe that the other episodes come as well. Would be good for you. I feel a little sad because I can't tease everyone that I watched it and you didn't, but it's fine. It's we want Japanese cinema and TV to be popular, so we need to share a little bit. So, a little grumpy. Maybe because I'm hungry. So yeah.